The day-to-day operation for a golf course superintendent mainly consists of waking up early in the morning. We're up before the sun comes up, and most of the time you get home at dark. But it is get up in the morning, a rewarding job that first thing you're doing is checking the weather. Then you're checking to see what play is going to do for the day. You already know what you did the day before, so you got your plans laid out for the upcoming day. But being in this role is really just someone that anticipates what's coming on and just be ready to roll with the punches when Mother Nature throws you a curveball. But your day-to-day operation is trying to really just anticipate and outthink what's coming ahead so that you can be ahead of the game. So communications is by far will be one of the biggest assets that you have when managing and doing a job like this. We use several different communication methods here. We do a weekly email to the membership of what's going on, what's coming, what's going to be expected, how the greens are rolling. You know, we had a storm last week, all the bunkers are washed. This is how many days we're expecting to get it going back into repair. We use a lot of social media, so we've got a Facebook account, Twitter account, Instagram account, any way that we can get our story out to the membership of why something happened or what's going to happen so that you can anticipate their questions. That is taking the workload down by half. So communication is a big part, because you're not only got, say at this property, 800 and something members that you are trying to please, but you also have a corporation that we work for. You have a general manager that you work for. So being an open book and communicating exactly what's going on, it will always pay dividends to be the best route. So part of technology with doing the golf course business has many factors. One thing that we do here at Technology, this is a soil probe meter. It's actually a GPS meter that measures salt and ECs and temperature, soil temperature, and moisture meter readings. And then you'll go around to each one of your greens and you'll be able to plot on your greens where any dry spots are, any wet spots are, so that you know on a day-to-day basis how much water to add, how much irrigation to add. If you've got a spot that's going to wilt, you'll be able to predict what's going to go on a day-to-day basis by having one of these soil probes with it, if you don't want to just do it by eye. This is our irrigation central hub. Basically every irrigation head, controller, satellite on the property can be operated by this computer. It can also be ran by an iPhone, by a laptop, by an iPad, and a lot of times we use our iPhones to be able to operate the system. But this computer right here is in charge of 1,726 heads, irrigation heads on the property. And you can see by one hole on 18, every one of these dots is an irrigation head that also has an address and a command and a satellite number. And at any point in time, you can go on your phone or on the computer, touch one of those dots, and the irrigation head will come on and run. And this is how we run nightly irrigation, set it all up, let all the heads run. We might run 750,000 gallons of water in a night during the season. This is our main heartbeat irrigation hub. We got several technology and pieces that we use. The one down here is a weather station that is on the property of our agronomy building. Shows us all the live update information, keeps records of it, keeps track of what rainfall has happened for the weeks. This is actually our time clocks, the fingerprint scanning. This is how people punch in and out, and then their time and pay all goes to their phone, and they can see it on a real-time basis as they go. One of our new technologies that we just got is this job tracking software system. Each day a person will come in here and punch in their code. This will then tell them what their job is, how long they should take to perform that job, and what's expected out of them. And that's all done from our computers when we set up every single day. So at the end of after you punch in, you'll then come into a break room where a job board will have listed on the TV for what your job is, everyone else's job, and gets all the information on what you need to do for the day. This is the greens mower that we'll use. It's a Toro Triflex. Basically, it has 3 sets of reels. This will go down from mowing anywhere to below 1/100th of an inch up to a little over 1/4 of an inch. These get run daily on the greens and is what maintains ball speed and growth on a daily basis. So we got two sets of mowers here. These are our walking greens mowers. These mowers are very similar to what the triplexes are, but these are actually walk behind individually by each person on the crew. They'll go back and forth across the green and use these to maintain clippings and ball roll on a normal basis. The other sets of mowers we have here are 2 triplexes. These are used to mow tees and approaches, so very similar to the other mowers, the first triflexes, but these are used to mow anywhere from a little less than 1/2 inch to up to 1 inch. So each mower has a basing on the height of cut that it runs. These 2 here, these are designed to mow fairways on the golf course anywhere from, again, below 1/2 inch up to 1 inch. And these basically mow 3 days a week, fairways on a religious basis. And we talked a little bit about each one is. These units themselves are $55,000 a piece. So pretty much every piece of equipment that runs a golf course operation is about worth as much as a new Chevy truck would be. So this is one of our rough mowers. We have 2 rough mowers that mow the property on a day-to-day basis. The difference between these mowers and the ones you've seen before, all the other ones are reel mowers, where the reel turns and the bed knife cuts. These are more traditional rotary blades, so they turn to cut all the grass. The advantages of this is if you get behind, reel mowers can't mow as much grass as rotary mowers do. These pieces run all the time, and each one is $65,000 to $75,000 a piece. Diesel engines, hydraulics all the way through everywhere else. And they can vary in sizes. We've got a 3-deck one over here behind it. We've got a 5-deck one that we're looking at, and then we also have a 7-deck that runs on the property. And these 3 mowers are responsible for about 110 acres of rough on a daily basis. We're looking for a potential employee. Obviously, it's someone that has self-worth and morals, a good heart. We always say for this particular golf course, we try to hire someone that is going to mix well with the family. This group that we have is a strong family, and doesn't matter if you've worked at a top 100 golf course before or never worked at a golf course. We can teach you, we can show you. But the potential employee has to have drive. You got to have motivation. You got to take pride in what you're doing. And if we can find that person that cares and wants to and is willing to get dirty and hard work, the dividends will pay off tremendously just by having that self-motivation. So COVID's been interesting. Many people in many industries, the golf industry though, luckily has benefited from COVID, if that's a proper thing to say. Golfing is one of those sports that can be done individually and you can social distance at the same time. and the golf industry has absolutely been saved by COVID. And we're already seeing the trending up in golf rounds, golf revenue. Golf is going to be one of those up and coming things to really pick up pace in this year, obviously, and going in the next couple of years. Golf course industry, as far as positions, obviously as revenues pick up, more demands pick up, more members join clubs, so the expectations are more and more and more. With that being said, the demands for workers is also doubling. There is a super high demand in golf course maintenance workers right now. There's a big severe shortage. In some of the past it's always been from pay, but as we've seen over the last 10 years, pay has increased and increased and increased to where it's some of the better paying jobs out and about, especially if someone who likes to work outside. Moving up out of golf course maintenance just as a laborer, assistant superintendents and superintendents are few and far between right now. Probably 10 years ago there was lack of interest of people joining turf schools, so the assistants out there now that would become superintendents aren't there like they were 20 years ago. So it's really right now is a high demand for assistants and superintendents coming up in the industry. And I mean, assistants can come out of school looking at $35,000 to $50,000 a year as an assistant superintendent, and you can go on into a superintendent's position making six figures. So right now is a good time to get into the turf industry if anybody's interested. The demand is there and it's not going away.